The number one question I get once you get past the basic questions about range and how long does it take to charge is, how do you road trip in an EV? The biggest thing that people want to know is, how do you know where all the charging stations are? How do you know when to stop? And there's this perception that EVs take so much longer to get to your destination, or you probably can't get there at all. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you an answer to that. The short answer is that in 2024, it is super easy to go almost anywhere you want to go in an EV. All you need to do is get in the car, put in your destination, and go. Well, that's all well and good, but if you're going on a trip that requires a lot of planning, then waiting till you need to leave isn't a very good option. So what do? Well, if I was in a gas car, I'd pull up Google Maps and I'd start plugging in waypoints and seeing how long it would take to get from point A to point B. Now, Google doesn't take into account gas stops, which exist, but there are gas stations literally everywhere. You don't really need to worry about where you're going to fill up because you could just pull off the road and pretty much fill up anywhere. Now with EVs, the charging network is much more sparse, at least it is in 2024. So you do need to do a little extra planning if you want to have a good experience road tripping. Now for us, when we plan, we use two apps to get that done. The first one is a website and an app called A Better Route Planner. A Better Route Planner is basically Google Maps, but it understands EVs and the charging network. Not just Teslas, all EVs and all charging networks are inside this app. All you need to do is tell the app what type of EV you have and put in your destination, and it will do the hard work for you. Not only will it route you from point A to point B, but it will figure out where you need to charge and give you estimates for how long you will need to charge. Very similar to what you see on the nav inside the Tesla. From here, you can plan everything else that you need to do, like all of your hotel stops or where you might want to grab a bite to eat. Okay, that's the basics of a Better Route Planner, and if you want to stop there, you have mostly won the battle. However, I have some pro tips that I would like to tell you about if you want to take your planning to the next level. First, in the app, you can set your leaving and arrival states of charge. Let's just say you want to charge and leave at 100%. You can leave at 100%. Let's say you want to arrive at a specific destination at a set state of charge, like a hotel. Let's say you want to arrive at 25% because it's going to sit overnight. You can plug that in there too, and a Better Route Planner will figure it out. Another key feature of the app is that you can adjust your preference between longer, fewer stops or shorter, more frequent stops. I personally believe that if you stop more often and charge less time, you can actually get to your destination faster. Also with the Better Route Planner, you can save your plans for future reference, but be careful. In my experience, I have lost some waypoint data, so make sure you have an alternate place to be documenting where you want to go. Also, to kick things up a notch, if you want to invest in the premium version of a Better Route Planner, is they offer you live weather, which allows the app to better estimate what your range is going to be given the weather that's going on outside. Finally, a Better Route Planner can actually do the navigations for you and show you the turn-by-turn directions as you're driving on the day. And just a point of full disclosure, I don't use any of those features personally. Now, once you use a Better Route Planner to figure out where your stops would be, I would highly recommend that you download a second app called PlugShare. Now, PlugShare is a community-driven app that helps you find charging stations. It's like, Yelp for EV chargers. What PlugShare is designed to do is to mainly find you what we call level 2 chargers. Now, these are not the DC fast chargers that you'd find while you're road tripping, where you can get all charged up in 15 to 20 minutes. These chargers are where you need to stay to get any meaningful amount of charge. So the first question is, why would you want to stick around for hours? First off, they tend to be free or very low cost, and sometimes you have the time to actually charge up, like staying overnight in a hotel. Or if you're on a vacation and you're at one of those waypoints and you've got time to burn because you're doing other things and you have a charging option, why not charge? Well, PlugShare will allow you to filter that map down to whatever you want to see as far as what types of charging your car is compatible with and what speeds or minimum speeds you want to set. Now, since the data is community-driven, you can also get relatively up-to-date information on the site to make sure it is really the site you want to stop at, because when you get to these types of chargers, your mileage may vary, as they say. Many of these level 2 chargers may have issues, may not work, so dive into the actual charger information within the app to see when was the last time somebody successfully charged? Because the community can check in and tell you what's going on. And if something's happened recently, there's a good chance that you're going to have success too. So now it's time to actually go on your road trip. You've done all your planning in a better route planner and PlugShare, and now it's time to hit the road. While actively traveling, I tend to use the nav inside the car, at least with my Tesla. The nav itself on that actual day has better knowledge of the weather and the range impact that it's going to have on your car. Now, nothing highlights this any better. When I was coming back from Colorado in a snowstorm, it was super cold, the range was severely impacted, but the car adapted in real time to those conditions to let me know where I needed to stop and for how long. It also has better knowledge of the supercharger status. There are examples, and they are rare, where superchargers go down. I've had one experience in my lifetime with EVs. I was traveling to Boulder, Colorado. We were in western Nebraska, headed toward Brush, Colorado, and partway there, the car automatically rerouted us to Sidney, Nebraska instead, because the Brush chargers were completely down. And if we had made our way to Brush and they were still down, we would have been stranded. One key thing that you need to know about the Tesla nav is how it works. Tesla nav, in my opinion, favors longer stops. Now, you can use your data in a better route planner to see if you can figure out how to get to your destination faster by stopping more often and charging less. So look at the nav. Look for those charges that are 40, 50 minutes. See if there are other chargers that are closer that you can go to that may decrease your overall time. And while you're playing around with all the places to stop, look at your final destination time and see if you can get there sooner. Also, if you're looking to zhuzh the charging network a little bit, look for level 3 chargers. However, in my experience, the level 3 chargers won't help you out if the charging network is not crowded. Now, V3s do charge fast, 250 kilowatts, but they drop off really quickly. And if you're not sharing on a V2, there's actually not a lot of impact. However, if you are forced to share on a V2, a 1A or a 1B stall, then you're going to drop your charge rate to a maximum of 75 kilowatts, which is bad. And you're going to be sitting there a lot longer than you want to sit. Now, EV charging is not a linear thing. And what I mean by this is that on the lower part of the battery, it actually accepts charge faster than the higher part of the battery. In general terms, the rule of thumb is that you can charge your battery from 20% to 80% in about the same amount of time it takes to go from 80% to 100%. Now, while you're driving, make sure you check in on that energy graph in the car because it's going to tell you whether or not you're on track to actually get you to where you need to go the way the car expects you to. And if it doesn't, the car does a reasonably good job of letting you know that you're going to be in trouble. It will tell you to slow down if you think you need to slow down, and it just might reroute you on the fly to a different charger if it thinks you need it. But be careful, it might just do this, and if you are okay rolling into a charging stop with 5%, it might have made a bad choice. Now, while you're charging, make sure you set your final destination to be the next charging stop at minimum, even if your hotel is somewhere in the middle. That will ensure that you have charged enough to get to your hotel and actually get onto your next stop. Now, make sure that you do the right things when you're at the hotel by turning off Sentry Mode if you're comfortable with it and not checking the app. If you do those two things, you're going to wake up in the morning with the exact same state of charge you had when you left it that night. However, if it's cold outside and your battery's cold, if you roll into the hotel saying that you're going to get to your next charger with 8%, be careful. You might find the next morning with a cold battery, you have a lot less range. So when you're charging for the next charging stop and there's a hotel in the middle, you might want to give yourself a little extra buffer. Now let's talk about what you should expect from the experience of road tripping. What's it actually like in real life? Well, when you stop to charge, ideally you're going to be charging 15 to 20 minutes per stop. That may seem like a lot of time, but the next time you stop at a gas station, if you have a gas car, especially if you're road tripping, time yourself. I bet you're at that gas station longer than it takes to actually fill up the car. Now, if it's winter outside, your charge times will have to increase because your efficiency drops. Just like in a gas car where you're in the wintertime, your gas mileage drops. EVs are exactly the same. So add about 10 minutes to each charge stop because of the cold winter conditions. Now, you should also expect to stop about every 1.5 to 2.5 hours to charge. Now, stopping more often for less time, as I said before, will often get you to your destination faster. Now, just because you're stopping every 1.5 to 2.5 hours doesn't mean the car doesn't have more range than that. It does. You are actually making choices based on utilizing the bottom half of the battery for maximum charging speeds, and sometimes the spacing of the charging network is such that you just don't have a choice. You have to stop. Now, a bit of caution. If you're in a gas car and you're a road warrior where you only stop, this is the way it was when I was a kid. You stop, you fill up, you're only using the restroom when you fill up, you grab your snacks or your food, you're eating on the road, and you stop a minimal amount of times, and you're just go, 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 go. You may actually find EVs are not the best experience for you because you do have to moderate your expectations with the times of stopping and how long you have to charge. Yes, if you're going on an 800-mile road trip, it will take you longer to get to your destination in an EV compared to a gas car. However, with autopilot while you're driving and the extra stops, you get to your destination much more refreshed. If you've ever tried doing 1,000 miles in a gas car, you know that you get to your destination and you're completely wiped out. Now, in an EV, using autopilot, yes, you get to your destination, you are tired, you had a long day, but you're ready to go the next day, no problem. Also, it's worth mentioning, as you can tell by looking at my face, I'm not a spring chicken. Now, as people age, it's much more important that you stop frequently for health reasons. And this is actually built into an EV. You don't have a choice. You're going to be stopping. Also, if you have young kids or animals, traveling in an EV is excellent because it gives everybody a chance to get out and stretch and do their thing. Okay, that's about all the knowledge that I have to give you, so thanks for sticking around. And hopefully you came away from this with a better feeling about road tripping in an EV. Now, if this seems like a ton of information and you're intimidated, trust me, don't worry about it. This will all become completely automatic after a while. So with that, I challenge you to go out to the world and explore in your EV because I tell you, traveling in an EV is the best way to travel on 4 wheels. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.